I think the LRT or the light rail transit idea is certainly worth revisiting now that we know how much dollars we are talking about in terms of what the contribution is at the federal and provincial level. I have a bit of a different perspective on LRT. A lot of people look at the light rail system and wonder, well, how is that going to affect me? Because I don't live in Kitchener-Waterloo, or I live out in New Hamburg and Baden. I'm not going to benefit, and I'm not going to be taking the light rail system. And for the most part, I think we can all agree on that. I won't be using it. However, one of the side benefits to it, there's two actually. The first is looking forward into the future. And certainly in 25, 30, 40 years, if something isn't done now, we're going to be in a worse situation than we are in 25, 30, 40 years. The second part, which isn't widely talked about, is what's going to happen to the rest of the systems, i.e. the bus and the drivers, once an LRT comes in. So there's an absolute commitment at the regional level to make sure to provide services and encourage growth along that system, along that corridor on King Street. But at the same time, the extra buses that are going to be freed up, the idea with those buses, or some of those buses at least, are to go out into the outlying suburban areas of Kitchener and Waterloo, where there currently isn't a lot of bus services, and be able to pick up those people and move them to the light rail drop-off locations quite easily. So I think that's a really positive thing. What we will see as a benefit to that is those folks who drive on the highways and get around town, is the idea is you're going to see less congestion and less traffic on the roads. So that is going to be our direct benefit to that. In terms of a Baden GO station, I'm actually supportive of that as well, because I think ultimately that is the right thing to do in the future. Certainly the next, or the newer concept is a much more desirable concept than the first one that came about. In terms of local bus services, I actually have made that suggestion twice at council already, and am committed to continuing to work with River Transit to offer bus services in this area. I think it's most likely that after the Elmira pilot is finished, it was extended, that we will probably see another pilot open up in the potentially Petersburg, New Dundee, or Manheim area of Wilmot Township, because those communities are so closer to Kitchener. It makes more sense to try it out there. We certainly need to be encouraging people, though, to be using those services once they do get piloted, because if no one's going to use it, then it just won't stay there at all. So it makes a lot of sense to me.
Gary?
Thank you, Dave. First of all, GO Train, I like Elliot, am 100% in favor of GO Train. The one element that's not there yet, and that is we need a station to go to. It's one thing that the train in Nashlinger Road and going to Toronto, when you can't get on it, what good is it? So as mayor, I would work with the provincial government to get a commitment from them in a time frame as to when we could build a station. And that station would have parking facilities so people could actually go there. And I think that the area that we're possibly looking at is the old Baden train station. For those that are from the neighborhood, it's down by the mill, if you wish, in Baden, EJ's, if you're better still. So I think those, and the goal is important for the whole community, and also having a station that you can get on is important. So that's what I would go for. Light rail transit. Being a politician and being accused of a lot, we're always accused that we never come within budget. This light rail transit, they're talking $800 million, and that's what they think it's going to be. Now we're short funds from the government, and we all read about that. But then, like most cases, when you get into these projects, they become $900 and $1 billion. Where's that extra money coming from? They're not sure what the true costs are going to be. Then there's your operating costs. What's it going to cost us on an annual basis to operate this train system? Nobody's really willing to give us a number, or at least I haven't read it in the paper, and that's where I get my information, such as you. So that is a concern to me. I like the rapid transit system. I think it services the community better. I'm not convinced that 14% of the population requires $1 billion project. And that's the ridership that they're forecasting for light rail. I'm looking at the 86% population that needs assistance and needs it fairly quickly to get into the core of the city and to get back home. So I'd be also in favor of having GRT put in a bus system within Wilmot Township. Thank you.
Councillor Kennedy, it's Peter.